Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the FC Podcast. If you want to catch these episodes hours and hours and hours ahead of when they're uploaded on YouTube, then go check them out where they're originally recorded on Anchor. We post 4 episodes a week, and on YouTube we'll only upload 3 episodes. You can catch the 4th episode, the Friday episode, as a bonus on Anchor. Links will be in the channel below, and don't forget to subscribe to Millennial Me, who's the host of the podcast, and enjoy the show.
You are listening to the Fandom Collective, your source of information in pop culture, entertainment, and Hollywood, with your host, Fallon, and of course, the rookie critic is here. So we are going to be talking more about Buffy the Vampire Slayer universe, mainly the first couple of seasons. All right, so let's talk about Xander. And an interesting dialogue we had in the last episode was the fact that there is a certain amount of realism in the show, but it's kind of joked about. And you have to actually pay attention to what's being said and all these other things because, like, Xander, he comes from an abusive household. And they kind of glossed over that he lives in his parents' basement up until he starts doing construction later on. And he does really well for himself, which you don't really expect that in the first couple of seasons with Xander because he is the quote-unquote the Zeppo. They have an entire episode about him. He actually saves the universe from an apocalypse because somebody was going to blow up the entire school ahead of time and release the Hellmouth.
Yep, yeah, he's good. He's the one human character that's, he doesn't have super powers, doesn't have a whole bunch of skill, but he's able to use enough of what he's got to try to get something done. He's, I actually didn't know that he came from an abusive household so far where I'm at in the show.
His father was very abusive.
But it does make sense, though, that it's like, if he gets that kind of thing at home, he's just trying to, okay, I'm at school, I'm with friends. I'm just going to try to, have fun. And, that kind of explains how he is.
He has zero survival instincts. He will throw himself and possibly get killed.
Yeah, he'll throw himself into things and not work.
Yeah, like, well, crap. Which is how he gets a broken arm during season 2 finale.
Yeah. He's trying, but,
But despite all of that, he's done some amazing things. He's back in season 3, he saves the universe. And then in season 6, he saves the universe just by talking.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way to do it. You got to run that mouth. And he's a mouth runner, that's for sure.
Yes, and he, honestly, I think he represents what a lot of us are. We're just a bunch of geeks. We're a bunch of nerds into pop culture.
Yeah, he's got the pop culture references here and there.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Which was nice, and I could empathize with that, which is why I liked Xander a lot back then, but he wasn't a great person overall.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think by the end of the day, it's like, these people are saving the world. I like the character, doesn't mean I approve.
That's what's kind of funny about the whole situation. If whether or not you like the characters, it's like, oof, these guys are saving the world. A lot of other people seem surprised half the time. They're like, oh, you guys, really? Interesting.
Right.
Like when Cordelia first kind of found out, it was like, really, you guys? Weird, but okay. And then she kind of became part of the team as well. But it's just kind of like a shock of like, okay.
Yeah, interesting you should bring up Cordelia, because she said the only reason she liked Xander is because he hung out with Buffy, it made him seem cooler than he was.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. And his friendship with Willow, I absolutely loved it. I'm
at a point in season 3 where they keep on accidentally, kind of bumping into each other. They're
oh my god,
helping each other get ready for their dates with other people, and they're like really having all these sweet little moments, and they're like callbacks to when they're kids, and it's like, okay, and they even notice it themselves. They're like, oh, we're playing footsies right now when our people are dating like right here. It's like,
oh yeah,
oof,
yeah.
That's a little tough there, a little tough, but it's like, they're discovering themselves there, I suppose. In a way, it's a little messed up while they're still dating people, but it's like, I don't know. It's weird when it's childhood friend that turns out I think you might have more feelings for. That's a interesting situation. I wonder how often that actually is a thing with people.
Oh yeah, Willow and his relationship with Willow, I really loved it. I didn't like that they suddenly saw each other, but sometimes that's how it happens. You can't control who you fall for, and it might just be physical attraction, maybe. But Willow actually had a crush on Xander for years.
Yeah, they're showing a lot of hints of that where he's trying to get with girls, and she's like, kind of subtly hinting herself with things, and he's just oblivious to it, as most guys are, and these types of things. They're just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sometimes you need to hit a guy with like a shovel. You might need help burying them, though.
Totally.
But Willow, the first couple of seasons, she's very shy and very introverted, and she didn't know how to talk to guys. She wanted to. And
the first guy she tries to talk to ends up trying to kill her.
Tries to eat her.
Yes.
So it's like...
That's kind of humor you get. It's kind of the humor you get here, though. It's kind of funny. It's like, oh, yeah, you're just trying to... Finally, you're going to take the advice, and you're going to take the extra step, but then, oh, he's trying to eat you. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's like, you're a Happy Meal on legs to them.
Oh, yeah. And a redheaded Happy Meal.
Redheaded Happy Meal, though. That's going to be a mess. And then there's a lot that happens with Willow. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I know
she becomes like a witch later. I know that she like gets super into the powers.
Season 2, that spell where she invokes
Angel. Yeah, she tries to take Angelus away and do his soul.
She gets possessed by the Romani people that cast the curse. I think they actually possess Willow briefly.
Yeah, they did because she like speaks all weird for a minute, I think.
She actually speaks Romanian. Yeah, it's like in the curse, and honestly, I think she always had the potential to be a very powerful being. She just didn't have anyone to guide her for that. And season 3, she starts opening up. And one thing about Willow you'll learn is that if she doesn't know something, she will go dive in head first, regardless of the consequences.
Yeah, she'll try to figure out. If she doesn't know it, she'll try to make sure that she does know it at some point.
And she always has to be the smartest person in the room.
Yes, she'd prefer that position than being outclassed with somebody.
Prime example.
If anything, that means she's got more to learn. Okay, I'll class you tomorrow.
Prime example. Do you remember the season finale where she tells Cordelia to basically go Control Alt Delete?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, deliver. She says hit deliver. It was the delete button.
Right.
So it's like, oh, she's a troll. She's a big troll, but we love her so much. And despite her many flaws, she has many of them. She is a great character, and you get to see her growth and development, her fall and rise. All these characters. The great thing about Buffy the Vampire Slayers, you get to see them fall to their lowest they can be, and then rise up.
Yeah, and they do good by having them start at very low points, and then
they reach even lower points
and get moved around. I mean, yeah, and right now it's like I'm at a point where so they got Faith around, and I know her an Angel in that, and I know that she had a bad past, and it's like, okay, well, I wonder where that starts exactly, because right now it's all hunky dory, and I know that she has some messed up things later. And it's just interesting to see where that goes, even with that character. And that's not even a main cast member. That's just a regular character. And I mean, yeah, the way they do the whole growth. I mean, the way Mueller says it, because he loves the show too. A lot of people, when he recommends the show, they'll be like, "Oh, but some of these episodes are kind of lame, or this season kind of sucks." But it's like he says, "No, you really still have to watch the whole show, because like no skipping, because." All the stuff means things later. If they don't seem like they mean much now, they really do. Like they are really set up, and they do have payoffs, and they just do it. They do it well. is all I can say. Because a lot of shows squander a lot of their stuff, and it's like, oh man, really, that's what you did? Plot holes, or with that character wouldn't really do that based on what you show, really. And but with this, no, they seem to set it up pretty well. I love the Spike when he's injured, and he's like, feigning it though here and there, and he's trying to figure out what to do with the situation with Angelus. and with his girl, and it's like I love that. I love how he just burns the kid. He's like, I'm not gonna compete for space with this other vampire. Fuck that, he's just gonna do what he can.
Shoves him into a little prison area, pulls the chain, lights him up.
Yep, that's Spike, and job done. Okay,
job's done. We don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
But like with Willow, you will find out she will eventually become the single most powerful being in the entire universe. She will become God. Not really, but that
might as well be.
Exactly.
Give Captain Marvel and Ray a run for their money.
Oh God, more so. Yeah, it's like you'll see. It's just going to take a few seasons to reach that point.
Yeah.
She's going to have to fall pretty low before she reaches that height.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I also love how it takes that long for a lot of their stuff to come to fruition, but also that there's a season finale and it's done. Like, there's no huge continuations. There's the spinoff with Angel, of course, but that's his story. And some of the other characters intertwine in there and end there and all, like Cordelia. But it's like, for the most part, it's all done really well, and it's open. It's like closed and shut. It's done.
Agreed. And Giles has a very interesting story himself. You learn a lot about him. You think when you just meet him, he's just mild-mannered Englishman, very proper, never done a bad thing in his life. And then you find out there's a reason he was called Ripper by his old friend.
Because he likes to fart.
Oh my God.
He likes to rip one.
No, he was part of a cult at one point, and he was a very vicious person once upon a time. An old friend comes into town and he's enchanted all these costumes. Ethan Rain is his name. Everybody becomes this. What's really interesting, and it does carry over at some point. Well, Willow dresses as a ghost, but she has a hooker outfit underneath. So she is a ghost hooker.
Yes.
When thankfully, the hooker outfit came from a very different shop, or this would have gone rated X pretty quick. And then you got Xander dressed in full commando, Colonel Alexander Harris.
Meaning he's not just in boxers, he's like as a Marine.
He is honestly, I felt like he was a Marine. He had that training, he had that knowledge. Buffy, however, became like an 18th century noblewoman who couldn't do squat.
I can't pick up a sword, oh no.
Yeah. Spike thought it was hilarious.
Yes. He's like, oh boy, this is good.
Angel wasn't impressed either.
Yeah, he's like, jeez.
But yeah, it's like, and it was really interesting to see the whole dynamic and that Giles had to break the curse. And one interesting thing, like we say, there are some payoffs later. They retained those memories. Xander, later during season 2, actually knew all the codes for a local base. He knew all the information, all the layout, what weapons to take, what weapons not to take, where would you find them. That is not normal knowledge that would be in a 16-year-old brain.
Yeah, that's when they got the rocket launcher to shoot the demon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good type of setup that a lot of people wouldn't really understand, or like with the payoff. Like, how does this guy really he knows the codes? He just knows the codes. It's like, no, it's because of this episode before, which is why you have to watch the whole show, because there's so many things that happen that,
oh my God, yes.
Even that are subtle or that are just barely in one episode. And then it's like later that your brain, you might not be thinking about it, but your brain will remember it. Mm-hmm. Especially they remind you, and it's like, oh, that's okay. And okay. And you start to see and just like put all these pieces together. It's a puzzle, and yeah, it just becomes something kind of cool how they put it together and that they did it successfully enough.
Absolutely. I loved it, and I think that was a great episode as far as Giles goes, because you get to learn more about what his character is, and you learn later on mostly about, well, I guess you would learn in season 2 that he was a sorcerer. He could use magic. He wouldn't be considered a witch or a warlock because those are not the same thing.
Yeah, those are more specific to a certain...
Yeah, but you would consider Giles more of a sorcerer about how he uses magic. But he was you learn later in like season 6, he works with the Coven, who are not evil, by the way. But it's like there's so much in the early seasons that you learn about Giles that pay off more later, and you get to see him in full power. Because we don't see him in full power. He doesn't even really use magic in the first couple of seasons.
He seems to hold back quite often and try to really put as much as he can on the young ones to train them, give them experience, and so he seems to not want to have to really intervene with everything like that. But I do like when the technopath / witch girlfriend or whatever gets killed, and he's just like, okay, I'm in action now. I'm gonna go ham. And he just starts setting the place on fire with where Spike and all them were. It's like,
oh yeah, I think that's how Drusilla gets injured.
Well, that's how Spike gets injured, I think. Well, no, she was already injured beforehand, I think.
Oh, that's right. She had to literally, the place was on fire, and she literally picks him up and carries him out because she finally had the strength that she lacked for most of season 2. You're right.
That might be that episode, or it might be a different one, but it's still, he tries to go ham on all of them.
Yeah,
and on Angelus.
At the point when Angelus has been freed.
Yeah.
And to give you a little bit of background, if you do not know Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Angel, it's like, you really need to go watch this. Angel was cursed with a soul because he...
Well, so Angel is a vampire that is cursed with the soul.
Yeah, he brutally killed a Romani girl from a specific clan. They cursed him because they ain't going to there is no way they're not going to have their vengeance.
Yeah, they could have killed him. Or they could have tried to kill him or hire somebody to kill him or something, but it was like, no, it's too easy. Let's try to let's make him suffer in the best way possible, making him have a soul so he can feel bad for everything that he's done and just wallow in it. And that's actually why the technopath girl's there, because she is there to watch Angel
from the
oddly.
Same clan.
Yeah, it's to watch Angel oddly and Buffy kind of like in her. I think her goal was to make sure they don't ever hook up, but that kind of fails.
That failed so hard.
Yeah, and it sucks because she feels like, I don't want to keep them. I don't want to hurt Buffy or anything, and Angel seems all right. So it's like, it's getting kind of tough to do that part of the job. It's but they're all dedicated to it, and she's
okay. So y'all know how to break the curse, and you're probably going, "What the hell are they talking about?" Okay, so Angel's curse has very specific requirements. To break it, he must experience a moment of true happiness. Basically, he must have sex with somebody he's in love with.
Gotta get laid with the girl that ain't a hooker.
Yeah, dude, couldn't you have waited until she turned 18?
I mean, the moment says they it was raining, they just escaped death and everything, that devil thing, and I know they're injured a little bit. It's dark and cold, alone.
He's like 240 plus years. He could have waited a couple of years.
Yeah, it's honestly, it wouldn't make that much of a difference. He'd age and she'd age. It wouldn't be much of a difference at that point.
This is like it's pulled right out of the vampire teen romance novels.
Pretty much, but it also works in a narrative way. It's like
it does.
As teen romancy as it is, it fits. It's like, okay, that's fine. It makes sense here. And then after they get it on, then the evil demon is released, and from Angel. Oh no! So the moment of happiness.
Angelus, one of the most horrible vampires out there, because there was nothing he wouldn't do. If he liked a girl, do you know what? One thing he did, he nailed a puppy to her door. That is not the kind of vampire you want to have anywhere near you.
Yeah, you gotta have one that will kill your puppy on your front lawn and
oh my
leave
God.
it there. Not leave it on your door like a monster.
Don't kill animal at all. And then Spike would impale people with railroad spikes. That's how he got his nickname. He was actually named William, but he became Spike.
William Spike.
Yep. William the Bloody, which is what was called. But yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff we need to delve into, and there's just so much to talk about. And Rookie really needs to finish season 3 because there's so much I have to hold back.
Yeah, I think I'm on the episode where Faith's Watcher arrives.
Oh, Miss Post.
I think, and she's all like, "Oh, your library is quite small. Where's the rest?" He's like, "Oh, this is all of it." And she's like, "Oh, so you have the book of Baha?" He's like, "Of course, maybe. I don't know." He's like, That's kind of funny."
Have you seen the full episode?
No, I think I was in the beginning-ish.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you anything about that episode, and y'all shouldn't tell him either, because he needs to go watch it for himself, because there's so much I want to say right now, but I can't. But we're going to end it right here. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, Friday, we will be continuing our discussions on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because it is October, the month of horror and supernatural and all those wonderful things, and we will catch y'all on the flip side.